a think tank has said that Trump's election is going to halve UK growth. Well, today, the Bank of England has just announced that the interest rates are dropping down 0.25%, so it's down below 5%. Maybe they might rethink of that in a few months' time when Donald Trump becomes the president of the United States. Well, I suppose you've got to have some room for inflation, and so you can up the old interest rates yet again. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, well, yeah, please boot the old like button. The little Wally dog is tagging along, that he is in the background. There he is. He's a little bit slow these days, but there again, it might be a good thing while making a video. Now, you see, according to a think tank, the NIESR, they're warning that the British economy would be one of the worst affected by these protectionist policies by Donald Trump, what he's suggesting, such as the tariffs, you know, to make the United States even more insular than what it already is. Oh, so why the United Kingdom? Why is it going to become more, or why is it more vulnerable to these tariffs? Are you coming, Wally? Oh, he's eating grass. Crikey, you upset tummy? So, okay, Donald Trump is one, right? But you probably understand my point of it, my thinking on that. In that, I think there's a lot of deluded people if they think Donald Trump's going to make their lives better, because he isn't. No, he's going to make your lives more difficult in the United States with the fact of the tariffs and what have you, and expulsion of so-called illegal immigrants is going to negatively affect the US economy. It's not going to make your chances in life any better. No, not in the United States. And it's going to have a knock-on effect to everybody else, including the United Kingdom's growth. And we all know how important that is for the United Kingdom, because we've had pretty much zero growth in the UK. It hasn't been good at all, and especially in Great Britain, to be fair. Now, if he goes ahead and impose these new tariffs between 10 and 20% on the UK, also the rest on the EU as well, so it's going to affect the EU as well. But they've got more resilience in the EU, because obviously there's more countries and they buffer each other. Plus, obviously, you've got the European Fund and what have you. So, the National Institute of Economic and Social Research said that the protectionist measures planned by the Republican challenger for the White House would result in a weaker activity. Well, he's not a challenger now, he's been voted in. He's going to be the 47th President of the United States. And it will result in weaker activity, rising inflation and higher interest rates. Now, I've been saying this about inflation for ages regarding Donald Trump and regarding this tariffs. The man doesn't even understand how the tariffs work. He seems to think that the other countries pay the tariffs. No, the importers pay the tariffs, or the exporters. It'll be paid at the border. And that cost, it gets passed on to the consumer. It always does. It's how it's worked forever. You know? There is no, they'll pay. Just like that imaginary wall that Donald Trump decided that the Mexicans are going to pay for the wall, they said, didn't they? But no. Old Steve Bannon managed to get the American people to donate money for the wall and then pocket it. And then the other geezers that he was working with ended up going to jail for it. He managed to get away. He's not stupid. He knows what he's doing, had to protect himself. Okay, he's just come out of jail, okay. But he's likely to be going back in again with a bit of luck. Oh, hang on. Maybe not now. Donald Trump is going to be the 47th President of the United States. He may pardon old Steve Bannon. He can't pardon himself because it's in the Constitution as such. You could pardon somebody else. You can't pardon yourself. Anyway, Ahmed Kaya, the NIESR economist, said that they were, if Trump were to go ahead with, say, for instance, the 60% tariffs on Chinese goods and 10 to 20% tariff on goods from other countries, the resulting trade war would lower the UK's growth by 0.7 percentage points and 0.5 percentage points in the first 2 years. Now, this is going to affect everybody. It's not just going to be the UK, but they're just saying that the UK is going to be one of the worst affected. A little Wally dog. He's keeping up. He's not very He hasn't been very well recently. I had to resuscitate him last week. Mouth to mouth, seriously. I can't believe I had managed to do it, but I did. In the absence of Trump's tariffs, the forecasting report published overnight before the election results came in that the UK would grow by 1.2 in 2025 and 1.4 in 2026. And inflation settling at close to the government's 2% target. And the official interest rates falling from their current level of 5% to 3.5%. It's already gone down to 4.75 today. But now we're going to be severely affected by these new tariffs that will be imposed on the UK. It's always the case. If you put a tariff on China, China puts a tariff on you. Simple as that. It's tit for tat. They've already started doing it with other stuff. Regarding, like for instance, the minerals, what have you, they've put caps on the export of minerals. So making it very hard for Western economies to be able to build what they want to build because they're so dependent on Chinese minerals. And also lithium batteries and stuff like that. They've put a cap on them. And the United Kingdom is being crippled by caps from other places as well, such as the European Union, on timber and all sorts of stuff, because they're no longer a member of the European Union. So they can't get everything they need. Now it brings me on to capital and money. Now capital is not just money, it can be also goods and labour force, etc., etc. You know, without that capital, money means nothing. You can't spend it on anything if it isn't there. And if you haven't got the labour to make it, it ain't going to get made without the labour, is it? So we need everything has to, well, let's marry up together, doesn't it? There has to be a balance. You can have as much money as you like in the world, but if you haven't got the stuff to spend it on to get the job done, well then you're in a creek without a paddle, aren't you? Literally. So the think tank has expressed a lot of scepticism about the expected impact of last week's budget on the long-term growth potential of the economy, which puts it at 1.2% in a year. Now, for me, I'm a bit of a believer that, you know, you have to invest in infrastructure to promote your economy because it provides jobs, and jobs put money in people's pockets and they spend it. And you're talking about individuals who pretty much spend all their money. You know, they might invest a little bit if they've got some spare, but as a whole, the majority of their money gets spent. And when it gets spent, it goes back into the economy, and you know, it's like rinse and repeat. Whereas all this other stuff, like for instance, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all those people, they hold on to their money. It ends up in some foreign or some offshore account somewhere, or in Bitcoin, anyway, it ends up somewhere else, and it doesn't circulate the economy. It just gets extracted. It's like you've been bled dry. And now we've got Elon Musk and Donald Trump, who could actually become logheads with each other. You know, they're two hot-headed individuals who could quite easily fall out. We saw this with Anthony Scaramucci, both of them big, strong characters. You know, Trump and Scaramucci. He went in as an advisor, didn't he? Lasted a day. Because Donald Trump doesn't listen to people. Now, if anyone thinks that this, latest election result is going to benefit them in the United States, that's for the birds. If anyone thinks it's going to benefit people in the United Kingdom, that clearly is for the birds. It's just going to make, this election result is going to make everybody's lives worse, harder to deal with. Just everyday living, ordinary folk just trying to get by. It's going to make it harder. While those at the top of the old feed chain are just going to get fatter wallets. Elon Musk has already paid back his debt. That's not debt. He's already made the money that he invested, and I say invested is exactly what it was, an investment in Donald Trump. He's already got that back because share values just went up. The value of these companies, such as Tesla and what have you, just shot up by 15%. That's billions. He's literally overnight, with all his companies, all of a sudden become 25 billion richer. There's Elon Musk. And considering he invested 100 million into Donald Trump, I think he's just made himself considerably richer. So anyway, you tell me. Please leave it in the comments down below. How do you feel about this? The fact that a Donald Trump presidency is going to make the United Kingdom's ability to pull itself out of the muck a darn sight harder. Please leave it in the comments down below. Anyway, we're doing rewilding here in France on the positive note. Yes, we're planting trees on the fields over there, that we are. And if you want to be a part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below for which you can have a tree, and we will plant a tree on your behalf, and I'll make a sign to go with the tree with with your name or memory of a loved one, what have you, or a pet, a doggy, or maybe a gift for Christmas. You know, it's quite a nice idea, I suppose. Toodaloo. Don't forget, comment down below and boot the old like button. Helps the channel, you know.